Welcome in, everybody, to the DNVR Rapids podcast presented by DraftKings.
Is it just me or does it feel like a winner's lounge?
It does kind of feel like a winner's lounge, but let me finish. We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code DNVR when you sign up. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, a.k.a. Merchel. Look at this. And this is Yahya. Hi, nice to meet you.
I am really tired. Sorry if I'm interrupting you.
That's okay.
All over the place right now.
I'm just glad you guys finally met.
It was a weird day when we did.
I think you guys will get along really well.
Look, we got a fun show today. And you'll notice who's sitting here, right? This is Yahya over here on my left. You got downtown Duane Brown here on my right. Because we have the newest member of the DNVR Rapids team. Super producer Tiff in the house. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Tiff's going to be producing for us. Yaya's going to be sitting in the chair. And it's going to be a good time. We have our year in review show today, everybody. We're going to wrap up 2022. We have several categories. We have all our picks. We're going to go through those. It's going to be a relatively open-ended discussion. We're just going to kind of flow through who picked what, kind of just reflect on the year, what we liked, what we had fun with. We're going to talk about some Rapids stuff, some game day stuff, some show stuff, just some kind of general Rapids fandom stuff. And it's going to be a really good time. We don't really have any news to go over or anything like that. So without further ado, I mean, should we just dive into it or what are we going to do? Should we just dive into it?
Let's go for it.
Let's just go because it's going to be, we're going to be talking so much. Let's just get into it. Number one, Rapid of the Year. Clean sweep, baby.
Was there even a question of who it was going to be? I almost put Keegan up there just to give another, but I'm like, that'd be really unfair to Rubio.
There is no other possible option. You know, even though we did name Keegan Rosenberry Mr. Rapid.
Mr. Rapid
that is not Rapid
different.
of the Year. Those are two different awards.
Yeah.
One's not even an award. One's
it's a Mr.
lifestyle / title, and one is just having the best season in Rapids history. He tied the record for goal contributions, tied the goal record itself with 16, 5 assists, moved from striker back to the 10.
He was just an overall leader. He was also the guy that was out there on the pitch.
Got the captain's band.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just talking to everybody. He stepped up when Jack was gone. That might be the best season we've seen from a Rapid in Rapids history.
I think it was.
And it's really hard, and I'll give it to a guy that went out there, proved everybody wrong, that was looking for a DP9. Guy came in here, and he's like, I'm your DP9. And
10.
he just, but like he came in the season as a 9.
Sure.
I'm the DP9.
Yeah, like literally, I'm the DP. And he took over the team. He literally said, this is my team now.
He did. He completely dominated. He stepped up to the penalty spot. He was wearing the captain's band by the end of the season. He truly backs it up too. We've been lucky enough to hang out with him a little bit here at the DNVR bar during the World Cup. The guy non-stop is talking and planning on how to be better.
Dude
at
is
every moment
dialed
of his
in.
life.
Yes.
And if Ollie was sitting there on the couch, he was telling Ollie, what are you doing today to get better? If just our homie Emilio in the comms department was sitting there, he said, what are you doing today to get better? The guy, I know he's going to show up. Is he going to get 16 goals again? I don't know. That would be a lot of goals. And we could get into that later. But I do know he's coming into next season fully capable of recreating the season he just had.
Oh, yeah.
And he also wants to be here. Every time we talk to him, he talks about how he just is trying to improve the squad, trying to get better. He wants to be a Rapid. He wants to be a champion with the Rapids. And I think even though we're talking Rapid of the Year, it's in the title, Rapid of the Year.
Yeah.
And you got to embody to be a Pidsman.
Yeah.
And he does it all
True
the way.
Pidsman. And next year, he won't just be Rapid of the Year, according to our homie Zach. He will be MLS MVP. That would be
Love it. Let's go.
nuts, but I'm into it. Guys, we said Keegan was one option. Was there anybody else you would even consider in that slot last year? I think
It's hard, man.
obviously he had such a good season. Price, when he played, they were on a dramatically better points per game clip. Like have a home playoff game kind of level
Yeah.
when he was in. So obviously he didn't play enough to be in that conversation, and no one could take it from Diego. But I do think that was,
I think Keegan
this is one of the ones that was the most obvious when we wrote
Yep.
it.
Keegan,
This
I
was
think,
the
was the only
easiest.
real competitor.
Yeah.
I think you could have made a small argument for Giossi at the end. That would have
Maybe,
been like,
but
I
yeah,
understand
no.
why. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that sort of argument where you're like, Giossi, but I still wouldn't give it to him. Just
No.
wanted to give him a shout. Like
No.
that's kind of the argument Giossi had.
There were two overwhelmingly easy categories for us,
And
and,
it's the
this
first
was one
two.
of them.
Yeah. And it's the first two. The next
The next one
category
is-
well,
we
that's
that's
have.
the
other
only
one.
one that we all matched. The first two are the only ones that we all
Yes,
matched.
correct.
Right?
Yeah,
Great.
the first
Two
two.
unanimous. The next one, goal of the year. Take one guess what it was. I chose Keegan's absolute rocket. Yaya chose Keegan's cannon blast. And Duane took Keegan's thunder bastard, which he swears is a real thing.
It's a real thing. I learned this is the British term for a long shot with absolute power that continues to rise even as it's going into the net.
It was so dope.
It is a true example
of a
of
thunder
a
bastard.
total thunder bastard.
And if you look
as
at it-
they say across the pond.
You look at it too. You got to look at the context of that goal. That kept them alive a little bit longer in the playoff
It did.
race.
No, it was
and
clutch.
It was the game was just ending. It was tied.
It was the winner.
He comes out and just blasts that thing through the net. He literally made me scream and wake up my neighbors. Like that dude.
It was a devastating shot.
It was awesome.
That's
Yeah.
the most pleasure I've gotten. Don't tell my wife in a long time.
Whoa.
Like that was.
Well, early in the pod, we had to go
Incredible,
blue.
man.
Yeah, jeez.
He's already
Louise.
gotten
That
weird.
was incredible. Like that was just an incredible shot all the way.
Look, that was just year after year. He only scores bangers. We asked him. We had him in right after the season, or was it right before the end of the season?
I think it was right before the end of the
It was
season.
the last week of
Yeah.
the season. We had him on,
Right before
and I was
Austin.
like, "Why do you only score bangers? Some people have headers in there, or tap-ins, or rebounds, or set pieces. You only score heavy bangers from outside the box. It's an interesting way to live, and that's his lifestyle, and I approve.
I'm for it.
I just love Keegan, man. Such
He's
a cool
awesome.
dude. He's one of the bros. Like in that goal, it made me scream. Like,
He is one of my favorite people I've interacted with in Denver sports.
Good dude.
He's just a great guy. He absolutely held down the defense last year.
Do you guys have any other like ones that you might have like considered?
Number 16, I almost put down. Number
16 was one
Not
of
that
mine,
it was
too.
like a great goal. Diego's free kick goal from like about a third of the way
Yep.
through the season. I want to say
I
that
like
was
Lewis's little pop over
Oh,
the
that
keeper.
was another one.
That was a
Dope.
great
On
one.
The
Fourth of July.
Lewis rocket from the angle,
Yeah.
the side
Yeah.
angle too was another one that
Yeah.
I considered. But again, these are all honorable mentions because Keegan was clearly going to get the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the free kick. He had what, two free kick goals this
The
year?
other
think
ones
so,
were
yeah.
really fun. 16 obviously was a big moment.
It was
but
iconic,
The Keegan
yeah.
shot was just like a
No doubter. It
throw
was an
you
absolute
back
no doubter.
in your
The place
chair.
went. It was funny because I watched it probably 10 times today, and there was like a crowd delay because it was like such a far shot. I saw it coming because that's how Keegan does it, but I don't think the crowd knew what he was doing,
Yeah.
and it was like you saw it ripple into the back of the net, and then all of a sudden the crowd's like, "Holy shit!" Like,
Yeah.
I
You
can't
saw it-
believe he just did
You
that.
saw it floating and you're like, oh, this thing's about to hit the post or it's about to get out. And then it just perfectly in the corner.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the best shots I've ever seen.
It was amazing.
Yeah, B-Ray mentioned that throw-in header from Keegan
Oh,
to Rubio,
whoa,
Yeah,
which
that's another
was amazing also.
That
Definitely needs to be on the list.
was, and two of our favorites connecting like that.
Also, that Lewis goal at the beginning of the season against Atlanta is another one. That beautiful pass.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of great goals from the Rapids. Just
Well,
Keegan.
I would say there wasn't a lot of goals, but,
No, but
there was
great
a lot. There
goals.
was
There
like
were some
of
nice
the
ones.
of the goals, there was a high proportion of nice ones. I would say. I agree with Zach. That Keegan goal against Dallas last year was an absolute banger. All right, moving on. Game of the year. I thought we would be unanimous in here. Me and Duane say it was the first road win of the season at Red Bull. Yaya chose LAFC at home. Before we dive into Red Bull, Yaya, break down your choice for the LAFC game at home. I think I understand why, but for the listeners.
Look, Giossi scored. Rubio scored. That
Two
was
penalties,
Giossi's.
yep.
That was Giossi's first
Yep.
goal as a Rapid. they dominated that whole game without those two like they literally could have won without those two penalties as well. That was the number 1 team in the West. LAFC stacked. They dominated them at the dick. They dicked them at the dick, and there was no other way to put it. Like that was a thrashing, man. Like and like if
That's a soccer term, by the way.
Dicking them at the dick. Like
It's a
like,
legit term.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no
Classic.
other way to look at that game and be like, that's the most impressive game they've had. And I just want to give them so much credit for the game plan Fraser had, for how they came out and attacked the number 1 team in the West. That's completely stacked.
And like after kind of a slow start to the not a slow start to the season, but they were, they're sitting in 6th, 7th, 8th, through April.
Kind of middling.
And pretty much all season. But it was like, to beat LAFC and then, which felt sort of validating of like, the talent is there. And then the next game, which doesn't have anything to do with LAFC, but to then beat Seattle at home the next game too. It was a really cool stretch it was one of the better stretches of the season. It was like, okay, we weren't wrong for thinking this could be a good team because it's there. Injuries and stuff obviously pulled that away. They could never figure it out on the road. I think I predicted like 10 straight road wins on this very podcast.
Road win the whole season.
I just kept predicting it. I was like, this is the week because I'm an idiot. But then, man, that Red Bull game was the drunkest, weirdest roller coaster of emotions.
With the Yahya goal, let's go.
With the Yahya goal, the disallowed offside goal at the end of the game by a hand.
The smoke everywhere.
The smoke in Yarby's
awesome.
goal. They just held on. It was insane. Even our fellow DNVR folks who aren't necessarily soccer people were tuning in because of how crazy our game thread had gotten.
Yeah, it just got
They were
insane.
like, what is going on here? Is Mitch okay?
It was literally Argentina versus France before Argentina versus France.
Sure, yeah.
That's what you got in that game.
Just
Game was
up and down.
pandemonium.
I would absolutely, those two games come to mind when you think of one or the other. Good point. Absolutely. Rapids, Red Bull, Argentina, France for a World Cup title.
Those are definitely
Absolutely.
crazy. Why did you choose it, Duane?
One, because I was the only one who predicted that one. After everybody was down in the dumps about our road losses.
I was so sad.
So I was just feeling that was the one. But then that game itself, like, as we were just saying, was just absolute pandemonium right down to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Just it's crazy. And I just, we're all on Twitter just like, oh my God, like everybody just jumping in and, everybody else who's normally on the show also on Twitter. It was just a fun day to like, one, be a Rapid supporter, but also just to have a road game where all of us, not just the three of us, but everybody.
Yeah, everyone was on Twitter together.
Everybody
like,
was on
enjoying
Twitter
it.
together and just freaking out. And that was super fun.
Go ahead and pull up the homie Dev, the Dev machine. So they followed up the Red Bull game. So this was the only 2 games, I believe, all year they scored 4 or more goals, which is a very sad stat when you look at some of the offenses across the league. But that Minnesota game at home, to follow up that Red Bull win with another goal fest, and it was also back and forth, was also a really great call. I think
Super fun.
that was on the list after LA for me. Was that Minnesota
There was
game.
a few good games this year.
There was quite a few
Even
good
that
games.
Atlanta game, that second, because Atlanta was coming in as favorites as well.
That the Houston game late until the end.
Yeah.
But like those games were exciting. Like,
Yeah, there's a few out there that you could really look at. Even
The game can still be good if we lose.
Yeah,
well, we
the
tied, but it felt
yeah,
like a loss.
that FC
Yeah.
Dallas game.
It felt like a loss for
Drew
sure.
Moore's last game too.
Oh,
That's another
man.
one I think we
Drew
have to,
having
like,
to come in and
Drew having to come in
actually
on a
do
red.
something. Yeah,
And like in winning against FC Dallas the second seed. And
Supposed to be enjoying his
I've
last
given
match.
him shit for that every time I've seen him this offseason. Like, man, remember when he actually had to play for 10 minutes?
he looked
didn't
at
get the
Gus
curtain
and he was
call, I
like,
know.
"What the hell are you doing?" And then like going away
He's
party.
supposed to ride.
It
in.
was awesome, man.
Right into
he's
the
been
sunset.
great. But yeah, I think clearly those were. I mean, man, it's funny when you look back because it was like, I think I'm less down on the season than I was, because I think I've really kind of fully grasped how much injuries truly derailed the season.
It was also just a fun season. Like
I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
this season, and there were quite a few really fun games. I don't know. It was a good time.
Time heals all wounds.
We
Not
are.
all.
Well, I don't know.
We're all healing from.
We're gonna jump into the next ones, but first, we have to talk about the homies. These are some good homies. Game time.
Oh man, game time!
I love game time.
Game time is the hottest new ticketing site. Did you like how I went there?
I did.
Did that emphasize how hot it is?
I felt the heat off of that
Ooh,
statement.
sorry,
Like
man. Spicy.
I felt it in my throat. I had to rip it out.
It is the hottest new ticketing site. It makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could? 50-yard line, maybe? I actually sat in a suite last weekend at the Broncos game. That was tight. Or 2 weekends ago. I've never done that before. Courtside? Never done. Have you guys ever sat courtside? I've never sat courtside.
No.
Nope.
I want to. I can get them on game time. Ever sat behind home plate?
Yes.
No.
Not first row, but
I think
a
I
few
was like
rows up.
6 rows back or
Yeah.
something, but it is pretty cool. Yeah, let's see. 4 seats at a concert. What's the closest you ever been at a concert?
Floor seats.
Like, how close were you, and what show was it?
It's a Mexican band. If you're
gosh.
listening to me, Julio, Calibre 50, front row, standing right there. Got to take a picture with them.
Whoa,
So
that's cool.
that one's for the Mexican homies.
No, Zach, that was the win. It wasn't bad at all. That was the win. That was the let it rip game, dude. I was second row at Red Rocks for Smashing Pumpkins, and that was
that's
tight.
dope.
Yeah, I could see the sweat pouring down Billy Corgan's bald head. It was so tight. Dwayne, what was the best seats you've ever had to a concert?
I used to go to a ton of shows, like
Well, look
late '90s, early 2000s, at like in DC at the 930 Club, and you know, if you're willing to shove your way up, you could see a lot of bands up front. So,
Well, that's shoving, not buying a ticket for.
well, it's just GA. Like there's no
Well,
tickets
You
for
kind of
up
missed
front.
the prompt on this one, Dwayne.
It's just how it is. Like there's
Well,
no
with
GA
game
back
time,
in that.
you can just go into their ticketing app and you can buy front row
Yeah,
tickets.
you don't
without
have to.
shoving.
You don't have to shove.
Yeah,
You know
without
what?
shoving.
If only I had game time back then, but the internet wasn't where it is now.
Didn't exist yet.
No, because it was still dinosaurs. We were just watching comets fall out of the sky. That was our
Wow.
entertainment.
Crazy.
My buddy invented the wheel. It was pretty crazy. We got wild that day.
Whoa. Well, luckily now technology has caught up, and you can get the biggest last-minute price drops that you can find on the seats you thought you could never buy. You will not find a better deal this season on Nuggets, Avs. I think you can get like DU, CU, CSU, Metro. Probably not Metro.
There were Broncos
But you
tickets
can
for
get-
like $10-15.
Yeah, there's still one more Broncos home game.
Yeah.
Literally,
I mean,
it
it's
is the
crazy.
best place to go. Make sure you go there. If you love DNVR, you will love Game Time. Best way to support us is buying your tickets through the link in the description. I know it's an extra step because you just have the app. But if you go to our YouTube page, pick a show, any show, preferably Rapids, obviously. Click on that link in the show description. Thank you, Tiff, for showing it there. You join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. And we also have to talk about Denver Health Medical because it is open enrollment time right now for individual health plans through January 15th. Denver Health Medical plans offer Elevate Exchange plans available on the Connect for Health marketplace. Great benefits and affordable health plan choices. You can also call direct at 303-602-4912 and sign up online at denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Elevate Exchange plans have options for individuals and families looking for cost-effective quality health insurance. For those who might not get coverage through their employer or who might be self-employed and need to get coverage, all Elevate Exchange plans include adult, dental, and vision at no additional cost. Plus, this year we offer lower monthly premiums than any plan currently available on the marketplace, and we've added new mental health benefits for your regular copay. Go online or give us a call at 303-602-4912. Plan members have options to receive care at any of our 10 family health centers in the Denver area or the main hospital outpatient medical center at Denver Health. Additionally, this year we added a new virtual mental health option called Elevate Mind. It's available 24/7 at the cost of a normal copay. Great for those who need a convenient resource for mental health. We are an NCQA accredited health plan, which means we have a higher standard of quality of care. Open enrollment for the exchange runs until January 15th. Call today, 303-602-4912, or visit www.denverhealthmedicalplan.org.
What's the best seats you've ever had in the waiting room? At the doctor's office.
Man, I had a doctor who had these leather couches that faced the fish tank, and those were always the best seats.
Oh, so you were in Finding Nemo.
Basically.
Mine were
I watched them play in The Great Escape.
Mine were the ones closest to Highlights magazine. Remember that? That's a doctor's office like staple. You guys are looking at me with blank faces. You don't know what Highlights magazine is.
Yes, we know what Highlights.
I
my
don't know what
gosh.
highlights magazine
I'm old
is.
enough to know Highlights. I don't think Tiff or Yaya are
It
old
still
enough to know.
exists. Penny gets it.
Well, that's because
Oh
she
my
has.
To be
gosh.
fair, I
Because
don't
she
know
has a
how to
cool-
read.
Because she has a
so.
cool dad. That's why.
Oh, all right.
Gosh.
I was going to use a different term,
Highlights
but whatever
magazine.
you think it works.
What is the world coming
Uh,
to? You're old.
All right, we're gonna
Dev.
do the one downer category we have now. Yeah, that's right, Dev. Shout out to you, bud. The one downer category we have. We tried to keep it fun, but the biggest disappointment of the season. I chose the Jack Price injuries, and I kind of already said why earlier. When he played, they were at a 4th or 5th place pace in the West. It was clear the impact he had on the team when you combine it with Rubio and everybody else. And him missing out on over a third of the season, that's a lot of time to miss. Hamstring, calf, ruptured lung from a broken rib.
That was
Puncture.
insane. That was the most insane of them all.
It's just crazy. The guy took a beating this season. I know he, especially missing out on such a close missing out on the playoffs. It definitely really affected Pricey. So, definitely a bummer there. Go ahead and pull that list back up if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, go ahead on yours.
Danny Wilson, he was supposed to be the leader of that back line.
Oh, God.
They came in after being the number 1 seed in the West. Their strength was that back line. They were great defensively. Danny Wilson had the best season of his career with the Rapids. Then he comes back this year and just doesn't show up. A lot of mental mistakes. And I think it starts with him because he's the one that's supposed to tell his people. He's the center back. He's the vocal leader of that back line. And he was supposed to yell at everybody, get your shit together. And it was kind of hard when he didn't have his shit together. And again, hopefully, if he sticks, I hope he has a great year next year. But if we're looking at 2022, I just don't think it was his year. I think he had a really bad year.
Sure.
I
Can't disagree.
100% agree with that. He was supposed to sort of solidify the spine of the team with Rubio playing so well up top, Price when he played doing so well in the midfield, and Wallace and Danny both, but Danny's supposed to be the guy, and it was rough out there. Duane, you said mental mistakes on defense, which I think plays into this.
Yeah, it plays into Yaya's for sure. I don't want to go too deep into it because I can't remember how many podcasts had segments devoted just to mental lapses on defense this season.
Mistakes of the day.
So, yeah, I think it was a bummer for all of us to keep seeing those it was weird. Like, it was just a weird thing that was also unfortunately consistent and kept happening. So that was my biggest disappointment. A couple of mental, mistakes is not that big of a deal, but the fact that it continued to stretch on game to game to game made it my biggest disappointment of the year.
Yeah, and honestly, outside of Keegan, who played every single spot on the back line in both a 4 and 5-man and 3-man back line, everyone else had a down year.
I thought Lucas was bad to start off, and then he kind of got his shit together at the end too.
I thought Lucas had a fine season.
Yeah, I think the beginning was just like riddled with.
I know B-Ray, of course, chose Artis as always. His biggest disappointment is Artis. I can't go there. The guy had 11 goal contributions, just basically 0.4 goals a game, which
And only
obviously you
half a
want 0.5,
season.
but he did play 26 games. So
I literally chose him
that's
for one of
more
our
than-
categories.
yeah,
He
but I
got
don't know.
26 with the Rapids, though, did he?
Yes, 26 with the Rapids, 7 with the Crew.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, he played 2,000 minutes with the
All
Rapids,
right.
but still,
Well, I'm not going to be as critical
I don't
on
think
that, then.
I don't think he was. Yeah, money, whatever. I don't know. We don't control the money, and I don't think. Obviously, you wanted, if he had scored one more and you're looking at a double-digit goal season, and I think it's fine. So, I don't know. I wouldn't put him as most disappointing. Do I think it was disappointing?
I wouldn't even go that far, honestly.
I don't even think that's the right word. I think
thought
it's,
he was. I honestly thought he he was great. If you don't look at stats, he was great because he unlocked Rubio, and they showed him what he can be.
100%. Rubio doesn't have the season he has without a guy like
can see-
Giassi making the just clinical run after run, putting defenders in the wrong place to support on Rubio. And like you could teach a class on how to run off the ball with what Giassi was doing last season.
Yeah, he did great.
Absolutely.
Again,
Like it was awesome.
I can certainly see like being disappointed from the high expectations that he came in. I just don't know if it's biggest disappointment.
Exactly.
Of the year
That's
level.
kind of my point.
So I'll concede there's some disappointment there for sure.
Yeah. I think it's okay to be down on it, but I just don't think it was the worst.
And also the money, and again, B-Ray, I don't think the money matters as much because the Rapids didn't give him that contract. They just inherited that contract
Correct.
for a year.
And they
So-
also only ended up giving them what, like $300K in GAM?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
So-
because the other things didn't kick in. He didn't lead the league in goals. They didn't re-sign him to a contract. Like he really did not end up costing all that much.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the contract, it's like who else were the Rapids spending money on?
Yeah, it's
and
fine.
their salary as well.
It's
Like,
whatever. It's whatever. I agree that I wish he had a better season, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna. I don't think you can look past the injuries. To me, the injuries define the season. The injuries are why this team missed the playoffs, right? And it's a bummer to see because you can't tell me in all those games that Jack Price missed that you don't get 4 more points,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's
And
just
that's
too-
the difference between you being a playoff team and not. So.
right? Like it's just that you can't tell me 4. I mean, literally, you can just point to playing Houston, right? But like.
Seattle being
Yeah.
up. You
Yeah.
were up 2-0 against Austin. Like
You can't tell
it's-
me that some of these games where you needed the general on the field to make it happen. Dev says Abubakar. I mean,
agree with you, but
on
I
the
just,
same reason
yeah.
you say, and I think maybe the best way to put it that combines the two of you and
The back
what
line.
Dev is saying is it was the center backs
Yeah.
because Gus didn't have a great season either.
Yeah. And where was Keita at?
He's back.
He was not noticeable
He's
the whole
back
season.
and he's training. He's back and he's training, and I'm really excited to watch him play next year.
And also, Abubakar is not the leader of that back line, so that's why I chose Danny Wilson.
I think that's perfect. Okay, let's get into the next one. Our favorite moments of the year, and we're not just
this was hard.
talking about on the field. We're talking about everything. Duane, let's start with you. You said beating the DNVR Rapids homies.
Could have easily been yours, but I decided to switch it up because this was just a favorite part of mine to be able to, see everybody pop up in the comments or on Twitter, but then go to the C38 tailgates and actually like hang out with folks in real life. That to me is just like excellent stuff. So, absolute highlight of my season, being able to hang out with you guys. Several of you have only been Twitter names for years. I mean, some are
Like
new,
literally
like
years, yeah.
like Bray is coming in fairly new, Logan fairly new, but people like Jess and Wanners, are folks that like we've known on Twitter for a long time, but have actually never had any conversations.
The Julio.
Let's
B-Ray.
go. B-Ray, you're
you
the
know.
fucking man, dude. Shout out.
So
man.
We love
Let's
you,
go.
B-Ray.
Let's go. We may not always agree, but we're happy you're here.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we would hang out at
That's
the,
good
we'd
stuff.
always try and hit, well, not always. I can't say I always made it, but,
You always tried.
probably about half the time I made it to home games to cover the game, I'd make it over to C38. Sometimes I'd be too late to venture over there. Whatever. I'm not perfect, okay? I can't make it to all of them.
I'm not stable. I'm sorry.
But, it was great being able to just walk through, people seeing, having someone walk past me with a DNVR Rapids scarf on
Was dope.
was a trip, dude. It was such a trip. And just by the end, being able to not really walk through just because, not necessarily even from the pod, just from being in the C38 tailgate and just being like, yo, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Like, hey, who you got tonight? You get your little circles of people you talk to every game. And it was a really good time. There was that game that we all got out to with Andre.
The Houston one.
God damn, that sucked. But it was fun to all be together on it, obviously. You're right, Duane. That is a really good one. Go ahead and pull that same graphic back up if you wouldn't mind, the favorite moment graphic there. You chose the Burgundy affair Walk us through it. I was there with you, so I will chime in probably a little too much. Go ahead.
The only reason I really, really love Burgundy Affair is because to me this was a really special season, capped off with that event. And I know the only reason we were able to go and that we got invited to that event was because of all the people that support us and everybody
Yes.
that watches this pod and is very vocal about this pod. And you guys gave us that opportunity. You guys made us heard with the Rapids, and I really appreciate that. And I think that was just kind of like the cherry on top to everything we did. We got to hear Drew Moore's retirement speech.
Oh,
and we
man,
got to
that was awesome.
Yeah.
and we also got to see
wish I could have been
Diego
there for that
Rubio
part.
receive his award for the MVP of the season after having the best season of Rapid. You got to see two historical moments in Rapid's history in one night, and I thought that was just really cool. We also got to see people like Felipe, who's now gone.
Well, we were suited and booted, my guy.
Yeah, we looked.
We
good.
looked.
Yeah, we looked.
They
clean.
look good. I saw
Yeah.
the photos.
Unfortunately, Duane couldn't go next year. Talking to you, Omar, give us more tickets.
Yeah, hey.
We'll fill up 2 tables for you. Don't
That's
worry. But yeah, like that was the main reason why we got to see 2 historical events at Burgundy Affair in Rapids history, and that was kind of a hey, thanks for all your hard work. That was thanks to all you guys for supporting us and giving us all the love that we do get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it literally, none of this is possible without people tuning in and having fun with it, and things like a Burgundy Affair, or when we went out and had lunch with Porig.
P. Smith.
Just doing fun, doing stuff with the club,
Yep.
having this be the Rapids place for the World Cup. None of that happens without people supporting us, and that kind of feeds into what Duane is saying here with his meeting of the fans and this community
Yeah.
building up, and our goal from the beginning was not to try and be our own Rapids community, right? But to try and supplement and add and celebrate the existing community and kind of just bring our own little flair to it. And I think it was a really successful season in that way. And it showed that we were even allowed to go to a Burgundy Affair like that. So thank you guys for that. Go ahead and pull up mine real quick. Dude, we were doing shows with Drew Moore. Like, we had him on our World Cup final watch along for the second half. And he was just
my
walking us
gosh.
through.
Dude is a baller.
Like,
Dude is
it was
dope.
so, I was just sitting here like, okay, so they're going to penalties now, man. Like, you took a penalty in a MLS Cup final. Obviously not the same as a World Cup final, but far
Close,
more
very
relative
close.
experience than any of us have had. Am I right? So, like,
Not a huge difference, if we're honest.
hearing him be like, oh, yeah, so this is, they're talking about this now, and this is, like, just the mindset on taking a penalty and just having all these little stories from all his time. And then just the fact that he's, like, the coolest dude.
Such
like,
a good dude.
Like,
He would watch the Mexico game with me, and he was just laughing the whole time. Because I kept screaming.
it's just been so cool to connect with him this season. And honestly, it was pretty far into the season because, he wasn't always available. He didn't, he barely played this season. But it was nice to see him kind of, get his moment in the sun at the end of the season there, and then, kind of do the media thing and hang out with us and hang out here at the bar for the World Cup and just spend time with him, get to know him a little better.
Rapids legend, man.
Rapids
And-
legend,
MLS
and
legend,
just,
honestly,
just
yeah.
a good dude.
Yeah.
Very little
Just
people can
fun.
say that they're 2-time MLS Cup champions, and he can say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a starter,
really
nonetheless.
cool stuff.
And he's played in 3.
Exactly. Like,
Really cool stuff. Okay, let's go to our next segment. Favorite show. I'll take this one. It was when I got to sit here. It was just me and Porig on set with Yahya producing from the side on the old set before we remodeled. I wasn't nervous. Like
you were anxious.
I've been in sports media off and on for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not, I've talked to coaches and players, and that doesn't make me nervous because I've done interviews and stuff, but having a conversation with someone who has forgotten more about soccer than I will ever know, and having to hold that up for an hour was intimidating. And he was just so kind and gracious. I thought he was great with Yahya, just throwing him crazy ass questions from the back.
Dude's definitely
He's
one of the bros.
he's
too.
one of the coolest dudes. It's just been really fun. And yeah, I mean that was before Duane even worked for DNVR. I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
That was pre
Or
Duane.
All City Network, I should say. You don't work for DNVR.
That was BD.
But yeah, before Duane.
Yeah, I was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
I'm wondering how long it was gonna take.
I'm not
Mitch
marking.
Toothpaste on
I'm
the-
not marking time that way.
I just didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to see how long it would take for you to say
Not
anything.
doing it. Not gonna do it. Okay, go ahead, pull that up again. Yeah. Post game with Drew Moore. Go for it.
Again, what you said, man. Drew's one of the guys. I will say there's not much more I can say about Drew except I love you, man. Like, you were great. You're like, I truly, like, I love you not just because you were a part of my childhood and a part of my love for soccer that grew, but you were also a great human to me and the guys on set and to anybody you talk to. And we really appreciate that because that's really hard to get nowadays. A genuine good person. I will say I was very conflicted between that game and the Keegan, because the same things I can say about Drew, I can say about the Keegan show too.
Yeah.
Keegan was one of those guys that came up to you, was really nice, was a great person just like Drew, and he was great on the show. Those two shows to me really stood out, and it was really hard for me to choose.
Yeah.
But those two guys, all credit. If anybody's gonna take the mantle of Drew Moore being a great player, it's probably gonna be Keegan.
Yeah, I think so too. Pull up Duane's real quick. Go ahead, Duane.
First show, man. When we started the AD era.
Oh my God, we're not doing that.
We are not doing the Anthony Davis.
Shut
We are
up.
not doing Anthony Davis.
This is supposed to be fun, and now I'm
The
mad.
after Duane era that Mitch
If
likes
we
to
ignore
refer
him,
to
we just
as
don't have
Mitch
to
likes
call
to
it
refer
that.
to it as.
I hate this.
No, it was fun because it was
It's
when
getting
I
less
came
fun.
on board here. It was these two guys came down immediately, and Dre too, and we're just like, "We heard you're a Rapids guy," and I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "That's so awesome! Like can't wait to talk soccer." And
Like
it was
sharks
just
to blood in the water.
it was
like-
it was just very
I smelled pit and I ran.
smelled pit in the water. So
Yeah.
it was just immediate. Like these two guys like reached out immediately and you know, we connected pretty quick, and then it was just like, hey, come on the show. And then I started thinking about like, what should we talk about? And like everything at that time, at that moment, and just people on Twitter were griping about kit sponsors again. And that
Look
show
at
was
us
very
now.
fun to me because we just went through like some very realistic kit sponsors, but also just some really silly ones.
I still
and-
think it should have been Never Summer or Einstein's
and
Bagels.
bagels.
or Crocs,
Einstein's Bagels.
and I'm still pissed that it's none of those.
Einstein's bagels to me is still the way.
like
Free
Mitch
bagel
was
if
so
you have a
excited
zero.
about free bagels.
I wanted
And-
bagels or Crocs. I don't care. Either one. I'm still want them.
So
That
that
was
was,
Crocs,
just a
kid, not
very
crack.
fun show. It was a very fun show
Crocs,
for me.
not crack. Correct. Okay, we're going to jump into the last three. But first, we have to talk about our friends at Illegal Pete's, baby. They are legends, and we are hyped to be teaming up with them. Here at DNVR, Illegal Pete's is it's our go-to. It's right there. I think we eat Illegal Pete's.
It's right down the street.
I'll probably have that for dinner tonight, honestly.
Honestly, I probably will too. I'll probably bring some home. It was like, I think we go there between everyone probably 30 times a week. Like, it's right there. We eat it a ton. The crew down there is always here for Avs games, going crazy. It's super fun to have them in the neighborhood, and we are super stoked to be partnering with them. I, of course, worked there for 8 years. It was 7.5. Oh, it was a long time. I worked at 5 different stores in 3 different cities. It is truly a dope spot. And I guess here's my little.
I need Mitch's secret.
Here's my
Secret menu of the day.
secret menu.
Illegal
and it's not
Mitch's
necessarily secret
secrets.
because
Tip of the day.
yeah, this is the tip of the day. On the weekend, there is an overlap of breakfast and lunch. You can get one at the you can choose either or, right? They have breakfast on the back line, they have the lunch line set up out
Yep.
front. You order a breakfast burrito, but you do not get chorizo, you do not get bacon. You get the shredded beef
Ooh.
in the breakfast burrito with some queso, and it is I ate that more than I think I ate anything else when I was there. The shredded beef is cooked. It's not cooked like a barbacoa or anything like that. It's cooked almost like a traditional pot roast. There's potatoes and tomatoes, and it just has this really savory. And you get these soft cooked, slow cooked potatoes in with the shredded beef, and you catch that bite with the crispy breakfast potatoes. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love
I
it so much.
enjoy
Perfect
listening to
breakfast.
Mitch talk about food. Like,
I was in food for a long
the
time. I
dude
could talk
knows
about it all the time.
He just knows about.
Um,
Who else would say just? When it
That
mixes with the crunch, and
You need
it's
it.
just like,
You need texture, and it has it all. It makes it so good. That's my tip of the day. You cannot beat the endless options of fresh ingredients and the strongest margaritas around. Stop by one of their 12 locations throughout Colorado and Arizona for happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. every day. The holiday season is more enjoyable with a piping hot cup of queso. Nothing warms you up quite like a margarita. Illegal Pizza is hooking you up with a little something extra this year. Spend $100 on gift cards and score an extra $25 in gift cards for free. Wishing you a happy holidays from Illegal Pete's, where good friends gather. And lastly, but not leastly, Green Mountain Dental Group.
can't
These
have that
guys
illegal beats
are-
without teeth.
That's true. You do need teeth to enjoy Illegal Pete's.
And to talk.
And to, just kind of survive. The most rewarding thing about DNVR is seeing the connections made through our listeners in the community. Green Mountain Dental is an OG partner of ours. They are major Colorado sports fans, and they are major DNVR fans. They've been a supporter of us since the very beginning. We've had countless fans and our own staff convert to Green Mountain Dental and never look back. Located just 15 minutes from downtown Denver and Lakewood, CSU alum Dr. Ben and his team have you covered from general dentistry like cleanings, orthodontics such as those pesky wisdom teeth removals, and everything in between. Green Mountain Dental has a few offers for the fam. Tell the team DNVR Sports send you get a $300 discount for full orthodontics treatment for new patients. And if you mention DNVR Sports, you get a free set of bleach trays. That's a $350 value with a new patient cleaning, exam, and x-rays. Lastly, for all the hygienists out there, Green Mountain Dental is hiring. Full and part-time positions are available. They are willing to work with your schedule as well as offering a great benefit package with healthcare and PTO. To make an appointment or find more information, check out their website, greenmountaindentalgroup.com today. Okay.
Today.
Today. Damn, son, where'd you get those bleach trays?
I don't know why that just fucking.
All right. Our next category, favorite newcomer of the season. We're going to start with Duane because while I think it is a good player, I think it's a ridiculous choice. So go ahead and defend it.
This is what Dwayne's gonna do for the next minute.
He's got the dog. Sorry, Tiff, on the headphones.
Tiff muted us a while back.
He muted Duane a long time ago. This was
chose
just the one I
Prizo.
was most excited
Yeah,
about.
you chose Ralph Prizo.
He ended up not playing very much at all, but
At all.
I was still very excited that he was coming in.
Yeah, it's
And I
exciting.
still am. Yeah, I still think he is part of the future of the Rapids. So he's still one of my favorite.
Prizo
newcomers.
and Bombito are the Canadian
You know?
sensation.
So
I'm
I
really
mean,
excited, actually.
he's the only one that's still on the squad on the list. So of faves, I think.
Oh, that's a good point.
So that's
I didn't
one of the
even realize
reasons that I chose him is that
Damn.
he's still a newcomer because he's still
Wow.
here.
Is he still a
That's
newcomer
insane.
even if he's going into his second season with the
Well,
Rapids?
he hasn't played very much, so kind of still a newcomer.
I mean, he's a newcomer
He's a
because he
tweener.
arrived this year. Go ahead and pull up
Yeah.
the list one more time. There.
Anyway, I'm excited for him.
Sure.
I'm glad he's here. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next season.
All right. Yeah. We've already talked to Yassi a little bit, but go ahead and walk us through it.
Again, how can you not like the guy? The dude has a great story about his grandma and his hair.
I love that
Totally.
story.
Yeah, that's
An
my
amazing
favorite.
story.
The most told story on the internet.
Love
But
it.
it is a beautiful
Or not on the
story.
internet, on broadcasts.
It's great. Giossi, again, he had goal contributions. Did he start off slow? Yeah. Was he exactly what I wanted in a striker? No, not at all times. But he did have a hat trick for the Rapids, which is a rarity.
That was dope. That was awesome.
He
I was
unlocked
there. It was
Rubio,
cool.
and him and Rubio had such a chemistry that it's hard for me not to like Giossi, man. I came in this wanting Giossi to be good. It was really hard for me, but he came in and he showed me what a true striker he can do for the Rapids and for Rubio. And I just have to give him credit, and that's why he was my favorite, even though I struggled really hard and I wanted to give it to other guys.
I love it.
I think
I
it's-
like all these answers. So
Yeah.
I love it.
All right,
I'm
and
for
then
it.
lastly, mine, our guy. I think one of the
my second
true
option.
guys of this podcast, one of the guys we truly rode for, Felipe Gutierrez. It took him a little bit to integrate in, but man, when you just bring up Felipe in any conversation with anybody involved with the Rapids, front office, communications, coaching staff, players, man, they were all so
things.
impressed with Felipe from the second he walked in the door. Drew was talking about, because I was asking him about countrymen playing together when he was doing the watch along with us during the World Cup final. And I was like, did you see it with Felipe and Diego? And he's like, the second they got on the field together, you could see it. He has a magic left foot. His free kicks when Pricey wasn't in the game were amazing. He had that recycled free kick goal to Wallace in that Houston game.
He also just had the vision.
Man.
I'm a midfielder slut, man. Dude was dope. Like, I love midfielders. Like, dude, they're awesome, dude. And Felipe was my favorite all time.
He, man.
Or one of my favorite all time.
Just truly a good dude, truly a great player. I hope he finds a home in the MLS and we can still watch him play. I don't know how to watch the Chilean league.
It's going to be really hard for me to watch him wear a Kansas City.
No, he's not going to
something,
Kansas
like-
City. Go to like Miami or somewhere.
Even in Miami, dude, it's going to be hard on watching seeing him in the Rapids in the league.
Yeah, for sure, man. I thought he really fit in well. I was hoping he would come back, but with Cole coming back and
It seemed
Galvan
kinda
coming
hard.
back, and there's a lot of pieces that are getting reintegrated, and there just wasn't room. And I think he came in and did his job for that that last chunk of the season there, and I think he showed himself well, and I think he showed the MLS that he can still get a contract and still play at a pretty high level. After missing time with the ACL and being back in Chile, I thought it was really cool to see. I don't know. I'm
Love
just
it.
a big Felipe guy.
Love
so,
that choice too.
Yeah, I'm a big Felipe guy.
I thought all three choices I said were great. I thought they embodied the season well.
All right, number 8. Category number 8. Rapids, you will miss. Me and Duane went the same. Yaya went with Felipe.
We just kind of flipped it a little bit.
We did.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pick the same one back, twice in a row, so I flipped it.
Did you?
You know,
like
I'm
the
gonna miss
image I
Yossi,
chose?
and I
he's
think-
waving. He's waving goodbye.
Oh, that's
Isn't
sad.
that the saddest
That
graphic?
is. Why did you do
That's the
that?
saddest graphic.
What? Or he's telling Forrest, stop, don't let me
That's
go.
probably what he's doing. But
I'm
I,
just a striker standing in front of a GM.
look, I think I miss him more now that there hasn't been a true 9 brought in, right? And that could change,
That's
obviously.
true.
But man, I thought him and Rubio were a match made in heaven. I thought they were such a good tandem. And like whatever you want to complain about money, I thought his production was good. I thought we had the worst wings in the league to feed him. There's just also, when you go to practice and you see these guys come out and you see, you just kind of see him interacting. The dude is an absolute A1 guy.
Yep.
Charitable, great with the media, takes his time to talk to everybody, signs autographs, is just truly one of the nicest, classiest dudes. And missing a guy like that in Denver, I don't think people appreciate what having a named guy like that does for a club.
Yeah.
And I think we are going to miss that in Denver.
He was
having
also
guy
a
like
household
that.
name.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
A lot of
You don't get
USMNT
that.
names.
Yeah, you don't get that a lot. And
Yep.
I think that takes away something from kind of the star power of the club. So I'll miss him. I don't know if I just covered it too much, Duane, but you also had him. So why are you going to be missing
no,
him?
I mean same reasons for all of that, and then just a lot of those stories that you hear about him off the pitch. Emilio certainly over at the Rapids, shared some really cool stories about his birthday and. Zardes just doing really cool things for him.
Yeah.
Handling the media after that Philadelphia game.
Oh, yeah.
When
Like an
Emilio
absolute
didn't
pro,
want to
man.
go
Yeah.
ask players because of that match. And Zardes knew it was his birthday, so he was like, I got you. I'll take care of this for you.
dude.
Happy birthday. And it's little stuff like that. And plus
just a
that
good
he knew
dude.
it was his birthday too.
Yeah.
Just those off the story, off the pitch things, in addition to what you said, are those are my favorite stories. So I will also miss him for that.
By the way, the playlist that's playing at the bar is fire.
Yo, Nelly,
Fire.
shout out. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
And we'll pull up Yaya's here.
It's
I don't know
really
if you have
quick.
anything to say on
It's
Zardes,
just-
but Felipe.
Zardes, again, I miss him because of what he did for the pitch and who he
Sure.
was. That was why he was my favorite newcomer. He will be missed. Same with Mitch. I just kind of flipped him and Felipe because I didn't want to have it twice.
Yep.
I will say about Felipe, man, when we met him at Burgundy Affair and whenever we got to talk to him, one of the nicest guys. I can say that about like 15 dudes on this Rapid
Yeah.
squad.
They are.
Like,
They're
I
all really
really
nice
could.
people.
They're all really
Yeah.
good dudes.
Felipe just falls under the category. He took his time, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, answered every question, introduced me to his girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure who it was. Could have been both.
I think it's
we
his
don't know. Yeah, his wife.
Yeah.
I really loved how he interacted with the media and how he interacted with fans, which he really brought
good dude.
that South American flair that sometimes it's missing, that passion, and he brought the passion.
He even did media with us post game a couple times with Omar doing some translating. It was really cool. He's man, he's so smart. You meet guys in sports, and this kind of goes across sports. This isn't just a soccer thing, but you see guys that just have a real cerebral feel to the game, right? Like they're either thinking slower or seeing things that you don't like. They can just see progressions farther than any of us can, right? Like they just understand everything in relation to the other, and he's one of those guys. And on top of that, just being a really good dude. We're really gonna miss Felipe in Denver, and who knows? Maybe there's a reunion down the road. Maybe we can call in reinforcements this summer when there are inevitable injuries on the team, and maybe he comes back and gets another stint in Burgundy. Knock on wood. Yeah. All right. Our final category.
Can I go last on this one?
You can go last on this one if you want. We are going, what are we much excited for 2023?
Much excited.
This is us, man. This is what are we?
I talk hard sometimes.
What are we looking forward to next season?
Because
we had such a good season this season. What are we looking forward to next year? Can you bring it back? I don't remember Duane's. Duane says playoffs.
Playoffs, baby.
Let's go.
That's what I'm excited for. We're going to the playoffs again.
Walk me through it.
I'll walk you through it. First, we play the regular season, and then we go to the playoffs.
Let's go.
Boom!
I love that logic. Simple to the point.
That's
Military
how
man.
we walk to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
we barely missed.
Look,
with a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
Now
missing
we're
our
gonna
best,
have our squad back.
second best player,
Yeah.
first best player, arguably.
It was kind of like the Nugget season last year. Honestly,
exactly.
It kind of felt like
that. We had Tom Bogert on recently. Tommy Scoops, Tommy Bombs.
The bomb boy.
Yeah. And he says this is a playoff team. Right?
Absolutely.
That's a very
Sure.
unbiased person who's connected around the league.
Totally.
He's high on this club. I just don't. I think if you play out the season, this is one of the worst outcomes based on the talent on the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think if you play out the season way more often than not, we're getting playoffs. All right, before I go and before Yahya goes, let's pull up B-Ray's category that he just said in the comments there. You missed a category, best pregame graphic.
That is a category that we should have done. Actually,
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get your shit together, Mitch. What the?
Yeah, I don't have anything else going on as that of merchandise around Christmas.
You don't.
Right.
Oh, damn it, Mitch.
You're correct.
We'll throw in a bonus as that one. Let's finish this one first.
No, let's do this one, then we'll do that.
Yeah, and then we'll finish ours.
All right.
To me, my favorite was the Vancouver graphic with the guy in the kayak overlooking the rapids.
Fire.
About
I
to
remember
drop
that
into
one.
Vancouver. That was my personal favorite. Zach says Seattle away. That was a great one. That was the Rapids going in.
I really, that was the first one you did.
That was
and
the first one.
Amazing.
Seattle was also my favorite because it was the first one, but also people liked it. So as a designer and illustrator and artist, that makes you feel good.
B-Ray's,
but also it was a ton of work to put.
B-Ray,
all that
shout
one
out
together.
your GTA.
GTA was fun.
Which one was your favorite?
I already said Vancouver.
Oh,
said Vancouver.
What's yours? Seattle?
Seattle.
Mine had to be the GTA one.
GTA.
And Keegan really brought that
Keegan
together
shot.
for me.
Yeah.
I also
Damn
really
it,
like
Keegan.
And it was like the inspiration for that
of all
one.
the you were very on topic with these, right?
Oh,
Seattle, it was going in. New York was on the
Then New York
subway.
on the subway.
gorgeous,
Always
by
tried
the
to get
way.
some.
But then you had the
rafting gear.
Columbus one, which was just two giant
crazy.
robots fighting each other over Denver, and that was tight. I really like that one. So
I
shout
also
out
really
that
like
one.
the Che Latina one that you did. I thought that was pretty cool with the mountain.
Yeah.
But I gotta go with the GTA, and it's just Keegan looking dapper as hell.
That was a fun one.
I do like that. And thank you, B-Ray, for saying that is part of the
Yeah.
game day experience. It's really cool. Dwayne works really hard on those, and it's really cool to get the shout out like that. So good job,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll finish out our
Glad you enjoyed
most
them.
excited. I'll go first. I'm calling my shot right now.
Let's go.
Timestamp it.
There will be one name as the Rapids' all-time goal scorer
What is that name?
after next season, and it will be Diego Rubio. He will break the 16-goal record.
I'd love to hear it.
It is going to be awesome, and I'm just going for it now.
Do it. Call
because
it
that's
now.
more fun.
Call it.
Look, he was so good, and I think they really figured out how he plays best. And it's crazy that someone 10 seasons into their professional playing career all of a sudden is like, you know what? I'm actually a different position, and I'm really fucking good at that position.
And I can play the other one if you need me to. But I'm just a mastermind at
It's
there.
so cool to see. He works so hard. He's an absolute freak when it comes to working hard like that. That I'm calling it right now. So there you go.
Love it.
I think that's a great call. If you were calling me, I'd be picking up right now because I think that's
Let's go.
A1.
All right, yours. You said the young core. Walk us through it.
So this really got me hyped the more I think about it.
Okay.
So I need to close my laptop.
Is this
before I break-
Yaselina time?
I might break my laptop.
Oh, laptop's
So-
out. It's Yaselina time. Let's go.
Let's
Let's
just
go.
kind of
Let's
say
go.
some
Let's
names
go.
real quick and tell me what these Ralph Priso, Max Alves, Cabral,
Galvan.
Gal Calvin Harris, Gavon. You also you have Gus,
Keita.
you have Keita, you have Markinich, which I still
Bombito.
Bombito. What do all those guys have in common?
They're like 20 years old.
And I forgot Yappy and Yaya, who's on the injury. And then you still look at Rapids too, and you got Hanya, Aguirre. You got 17-year-old
Chacon.
You have Chacon. You have 17-year-old Aguirre that just went to the U17s. You got one of the best goalkeepers in the U15s as well. Those guys are a little bit more off. But if you look at next year, this Rapids young core is getting built. It's becoming what you hope the Rapids could be. They're looking into South America. They're looking all across the world. And they're picking guys that's going to fit their system. That's going to fit. And they're going to become a juggernaut.
Classic
and
Yaselina.
let's say something. Let's say they go to the playoffs. Half the squad is going to leave.
Oh,
that
let's
brings in
say it
cash.
because they're going.
They bring cash, right? They're going to bring a lot. What does money
but
bring?
Get your
Brings
Yappy
you-
in love now, because that dude's Europe bound
Dude,
soon.
You're gonna bring so much more. If you saw half those guys, you bring in so much more money, and you bring in better players, and you just continue the process. Philadelphia Union, LAFC, Galaxy, every squad out there in the MLS, look at me in the eyes. We're coming for you.
Oh,
The Rapids are coming. It's not just Coach Prime anymore. It is the Rapids. This young core will give fits to anybody. And you sprinkle in Rubio, you sprinkle in Keegan, Abubakar, Jack, and
pricey.
all these guys, and it's about to be one of the best teams in the MLS. And I'm ready for it, but this young core will drive this team.
Wrap the show.
Oh man!
Finish on that
We finished
Yaselina.
2022 with some Yaselina. Is there any other way
Love
for
it.
us to go out?
I'm just so ready for all these guys to take
I
that
can
step,
tell.
and they're taking that step. They're taking that damn step. MLS Cup, here we come.
Whoa! Oh man, guys! All right, that's gonna do it for our year in review show. I think the last thing I want to touch on is just thank you guys for riding with us all season. Right? It's the usual suspects in there, man. It's so cool to have you guys. We're 2 months away from the start of the season. We're gonna have a ton of off-season content coming your way. We're gonna have a ton of awesome guests. Some newcomers that we haven't had on yet. Some of the old guys that we've had on a bunch of times. We're gonna be reacting to any sort of roster news that comes out. We're going to be
Which January should be kind of a busier month.
absolutely. We're going to be talking all sorts of
Preseason.
preseason
Yeah.
stuff, season preview stuff, and you guys will be along for the ride with us, man. It's going to be fun as hell. Plug away.
You already know the deal. 5 stars anywhere you hear us, whether that be YouTube, whether that be on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. 5 stars, 5-star reviews. They really help us out. Interact with us on Twitter, DNVR_Rapids. We'll try to accommodate as many things as you like. Give us suggestions for shows. We're more than happy to talk it out.
I agree. Duane, what do you got?
Hey, man, jump into the merch. Jump into DNVRlocker.com. We saw a comment earlier. We need a DNVR hat. I agree, but we can't get new stuff until the old stuff proves that it can sell. So get your friends and family in on the DNVR Rapids merch. Sign up for Die Hard. Be a Die Hard member, and you will
20% off of them.
You'll be able to get one of those 2 Rapids pieces, DNVR Rapids
free.
pieces, for free with your membership. And like Mitch just said, 20% off on everything after that. So, jump into the diehard memberships and be a part of the club as well.
For real, it means a lot when you guys do that. And yeah, man, I make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribers are huge for us. Liking videos are huge for us too, man. That really improves our visibility as a podcast and as a show. So just
tell a friend too. Just
taking
tell one
that
friend.
little bit of time to hit the thumbs up for us really goes a long way. Guys, I'm excited for next year. I'm excited to keep doing this pod with you guys, even Yaya. We're stoked to have Tiff on for the ride.
Dude, I love
So
Tiff. I'm so
awesome.
happy.
We're
that-
all in on Tiff. Let's go. But more important than all of that, guys, the only thing that matters, up the pits.